Hello and welcome to a 1v1 cast on Greentooth Gorge. Starting off, we have Tex playing as the Warlock running his way into mid, and we have VindicareX playing as the Lord Commissar on the bottom side of the map. Starting off, both players just going for standard things. Tex rushing for the VP in mid. Normally do see Eldar going for the double power, so you normally see one Eldar unit going over here and unit going over here. And also, as a quick reminder, the monthly Rumble tournament is this Sunday, so make sure you sign up. The link is in the description below. But Warlock playing very aggressively here, running towards the contest or the natural power here of Vindicare. Might get spotted out by this Sentinel that's actually walking through here, or should get spotted out here. In fact, they're going to meet each other. Warlock going to be running behind some green cover here. Meanwhile, the rest of Tex's units just seem to be capping as per normal. Sentinel actually going to ignore the Warlock here, going to go in for a decap onto that mid VP, try and stop Tex from bleeding Vindicare. As VP's down by the looks of things. Sentinel also upgrading to the stump as well, while the Warlock is trying to tie up that Sentinel in melee combat, even landing a special there as well against the Sentinel, though Sentinel unaffected by melee specials. Warlock going to be leading the charge in here, going to be going after some guardsmen by looks of that. Triple guardsman here for VindicareX. No sergeant upgrades yet, since he spent a lot of requisition on getting the Sentinel out, as well as the triple guardsman. Could see the triple sergeant upgrade later. Could see the triple commissar upgrade even later as well, along with a chimera as well, so you can actually reinforce all these units. And in tier 2, probably even see the stubbornness upgrade onto the Lord Commissar, since if you've got triple guardsman, stubbornness is going to be really strong, especially with the triple commissar, since that gives you the 30 units you need to surround yourself, giving you an extra 75% damage boost and allowing you to heal a lot. But for now, just some kind of standard capping. Dire Avengers getting caught out though by the Force or the Lord Commissar, going to be losing that model here. Banshees also going in very aggressively here. Guardsmen going to be entering the structure here to actually protect themselves from the Banshees. Banshees also going to be retreated away. Tex is going to be falling back. Guardsmen though taking a lot of map control here for Vindicare. Lord Commissar going to go in for a decap onto this half matured requisition points as well. Dire Avengers going to be meeting some Guardsmen here. Dire Avengers do actually win in melee combat against Guardsmen, even if they do have a sergeant. So Dire Avengers going to be meleeing down, or Guardsmen actually going to be meleeing down the Dire Avengers. By the looks of things, the Guardsmen will lose this engagement. From Dire Avengers actually doing, I think, 8 DPS in melee. Guardsmen only doing 2 DPS in melee. Stump also going to be coming down as well, going to catch out one of the models, especially the Dire Avengers. Now that they got their Warlock upgrade in the midst of that engagement, they are definitely going to win that engagement. A Warlock armed with a chainsword, and also being able to leap into combat as well. Commissar going in very aggressively here, but Banshees getting quite close in the area. Warlock also in the area. Lord Commissar is going to retreat away to safety. Dire Avengers going to get retreat away to safety as they're going to lose this fight to the Sentinel as well. And Guardian Weapons team going to be coming out for Tex. Vindicare putting down triple generators, but still no tier 1.5 units out for him. Probably just going to be upgrades for the Commissar, along with some upgrades as well elsewhere. In fact, actually, as I say that, he's actually getting a heavy weapons team out, which would be a good idea. Tex might even upgrade his Dire Avengers to plasma grenades, or he might even get an immolator on his Warlock. The immolator and plasma grenades are very effective against a heavy weapons team, since they've now been changed to 6 members. So AoE is very effective against them. Their health has also gone down as well to 150, so if you land a plasma grenade in a really nice spot, you can actually instantly wipe a heavy weapons team, assuming that they're also really grouped up as well, especially like this. A plasma grenade really placed well and could actually wipe the entire squad. Banshees are going to be fighting some Guardsmen and the Commissar here. The Commissar, still no upgrades on him yet. Heavy weapons team is going to be setting up. Banshees going to be picking off some Guardsmen models, but the heavy weapons team going to get some point blank fire onto these Banshees, going to be taking down a model or 2 here. Banshees actually going to be down to just 3 models out of 5. Guardian weapons team is somewhere around the map. Guardian weapons team's actually capping in mid. Dire Avengers protecting that right hand VP. Tex is going to try and lead Vindicare some VPs, but instead Tex is actually losing in VPs right now, 382 to 460. Dire Avengers sitting in a defensive position behind some yellow cover here. Guardsman out in the open trying to get a decap onto this VP. Going to be bleeding quite a few models here. Sentinel going to go in for a stomp against this. Guardian weapons team going to be taking down a model there, and Dire Avengers can now regain their natural VP. The immolator here for the Warlock as well, going to be very effective against that Commissar's Refractor Shield. Dire Avengers running inside the building for safety, and now we've got the match the Sentry head Commissar fighting the Warlock. And it looks like the Commissar has got an upgrade. Yeah, he's got the Power Sword upgrade, that's why he's doing so much damage to this Warlock. and that special might actually turn the tide of the battle, might actually let the Commissar win. Warlock needs to retreat away, he's taking too much damage here, taking 40 damage per hit. Commissar activating that refractor shield. Once again, the Immolator is not going to do enough damage over time to actually finish off the Commissar. Sentinel coming in very aggressively here, going to get forced away. Heavy weapons team also set up as well. Dire Avengers needs to just exit the building and run away. Heavy weapons team is also resetting up as well. We're still not inside the arc of that building, so still will not be able to fight inside that building. Guided weapons team here, 4 techs going to be setting up instead. Vindicare going to be the first person to tier 2. Guided weapons team going in very aggressively here, going to be met by suppression of the heavy weapons team. But the guided weapons team behind some green cover will actually take less courage damage compared to the heavy weapons team, which is out in the open. But Dire Avengers allowed to run in, throw a grenade onto that heavy weapons team. Heavy weapons team going to be forced off, going to be losing 3 models there to that plasma grenade. Going to be very painful. Going to cost him a bit of power to reinforce that heavy weapons team back up to full models. Sentinel and Guardsman going to be repairing here. Warlock still down on the ground. Banshee's fleeting in here as well. The Guardian Weapons team pushing in further forward. The Sentinel does have Stomp available, could actually stomp these Banshees before they get into combat here. Banshees will dodge out that Stomp though. And Sentinel getting caught out here. Power melee very effective against heavy infantry of the Sentinel. Guardian Weapons team also set up as well, but the Sentinel looks like it should be able to walk out of here just fine at 300 HP Shuriken pistols on the Banshees. Not really going to do too much to the Sentinel. You can see how little damage it's doing now. Commissar though running in, actually picking off a model with his last pistol here. The last pistol is actually the highest damaging sidearm in the game at 18 DPS. Very effective at picking up models. But the Commissar will get forced off. Stubbornness upgrade also getting purchased as well here for Vindicare. Dire Avengers going to be fighting the Guardsmen out in the open. Should win this engagement, especially with the gate healing them up. But Dire Avengers going to force melee to actually secure their victory here. And you can see that Warlock leaping in to do that knockback as well. Warlock leading the Dire Avengers very effective, but the Commissar upgrade coming in here for the Guardsmen. The Commissar is extremely strong in both melee and ranged combat, but the Guardsmen are getting so low right now, but some more Guardsmen support. Sentinel coming in as well. These Dire Avengers, I don't think they can stay in the fight much longer, also getting stunned as well on a couple of models, and the Dire Avengers will get forced off here. The second Guardsman squad also going to try and force melee here by the looks of things as well, but going to be stopped from doing so because of the Immolator from that Warlock, who has just been repurchased as well, and coming out of that gate, going to try and pick up some models there with that Immolator. Going to be gaining a lot of experience here. You can actually look at his XP bar right now, so starting to fill up by quite a bit. Meanwhile on the left hand side, the Commissar is going to be going in against the Guardian Weapons team here. Dire Avengers could be in position to throw a grenade. Banshees could actually force the Guardsman off, and should force the Guardsman off just so the stubbornness bonus on the Commissar isn't so good. The Guardian Weapons team though is going to go down here to do that Lord Commissar. The last pistol might be able to finish it off here. It's 8 HP. Looks like it might be able to barely get away. One more hit from that last pistol and it will go down. The stubbornness does actually affect the last pistol as well. You actually do extra damage with your last pistol on retreat. But last pistol still not doing too much damage. Will be enough damage to actually take down a Guided Weapons team retreating away with 8 HP. Techs now tier 2 as well. Still no tier 2 purchases yet other than this Banshee Exarch by the looks of things. But we could see a tier 2 unit such as a Falcon, could even see some Wraithguard come in as well, especially since there are triple Guardsmen on the field with a heavy weapons team. Some Wraithguard here could be a really effective choice just to shut down these Guardsmen or force them to at least split up and keep moving around. Manticore going to be coming in here for a VindicareX as well. And Sentinel going to get forced off by that Immolator Warlock. The damage over time does actually affect the Sentinel as well, which you might be able to barely see on his health bar here. But the Sentinel going to be stomping that Warlock. Warlock will be forced off here. Guardsman going to be repairing that Sentinel back up to the full. The Lord Commissar here on the left hand side going to be falling back to the heavy weapons team and some more Guardsmen. That stubbornness bonus is going to be quite big here with multiple units, 12 Guardsmen and one with 6 heavy weapon team members. Means 18 members, which is not enough for the 20% bonus. It's going to be an extra 32% damage increase though, which is still quite a lot. Guardsmen going to be falling back. Banshees fleeting around, going to try and tie up that heavy weapons team, getting slightly caught out in the arc of fire, but still moving a bit too quickly. I think the fleet global has also been used. Banshees going to be tying up that heavy weapons team. Meanwhile on the right hand side, Dire Avengers going to get forced off here by some Guardsmen and the Sentinel. Manticore Strike actually going to go down on his own heavy weapons team, but the heavy weapons team is retreating, so it won't take too much damage, and the Commissar going to be fighting the Banshees now as they try to retreat away. Guardsmen also executed by the Commissar upgrade within the squad, and the Lord Commissar going to chase down these Banshees. Stubbornness bonus of that power sword does hit the Banshees, going to be doing so much damage and will kill the Exarch. but there's still 2 models as well for the Commissar to also kill. 1 model will go down, 2nd model also going to go down, so that last pistol at the same time. Mines getting dropped down, Dire Avengers in a very awkward position here. Mines on their retreat path and they can't really go into the building either. Mines starting to do some damage though, even though they actually are detectors, so they shouldn't get affected by these mines. The mines can still take damage and get detonated by the Dire Avengers here. Guardsmen going to be running into the building. It's very risky given that there's 2 plasma grenades available for these Dire Avengers, and grenades going to get thrown into the building. Guardsmen going to get hit. There's also the Immolator as well for the Warlock. The Immolator on cooldown though and no energy for the Immolator. Could see a retreat grenade onto that Guardsman squad, which is armed with just a Sergeant Commissar. The Sergeant will go down. The Guardsman Commissar will live. 5 HP. Dire Avengers trying to fleece in here, trying to finish him off. 5 HP still. 4 HP. And the Commissar here for the Guardsman squad will get away there. Warlock still defending the area. Sentinel forced off as well. On the left hand side, a webway gate is going to go down here. Banshee's going to be fleecing in once again. Fire Dragon's coming out as well, going to try and snipe that Manticore presumably. Sentinel will be able to force off that 2-man Dire Avenger squad that tries to finish off the Guardsman earlier. And VindicareX still remains on triple Guardsman. In fact, I don't think any person has lost a single unit throughout this game other than Tex losing his Guardian Weapons team here earlier. That Commissar though with the stubbornness bonus trying to fight some Banshee in melee. He's so low. That special though is really going to help him out though, knocking away 2 Banshee models. And Banshee's also losing even further models and Refractor Shield as well. The Lord Commissar looks like he's going to finish off this Banshee squad as well. He's so close to that power sword, doesn't able to finish off that Banshee squad, but that stubbornness bonus extremely strong. You can see him fighting a full health Banshee squad from full health and being able to just barely out heal the damage there. And the map is looking very red right now. 233 VPs to 445. Sentinel still in need of some repairs, and the stubbornness bonus getting amplified even further as a 2nd Guardsman squad and even the 3rd Guardsman squad come into the area. And I'm not too sure about that Manticore strike from Vindicare actually killing or doing some damage to his friendly Guardsman instead. The Fire Dragons are coming in around here for a flank. Needs to be careful not to get too close to requisition or power points, otherwise it will get spotted here by Vindicare, since they do give a small radius or small sight radius as well. But the Guardsman squad still lacking a Sergeant here. They did lose the Sergeant to a plasma grenade earlier. Could actually repurchase that Sergeant to bring the squad back up to 12 models instead of 9, and it also cannon is going to be upgraded onto the heavy weapons team. Manticore though, very vulnerable. Fire Dragons activated their damage bonus and going to be trying to chase down the Manticore. Flare is dropped down, but the Flare isn't going to be enough. Fire Dragons are going to carry on chasing the Manticore down to base, gain some rear armor hits, and Fire Dragons will be able to snipe that Manticore before going away without losing a single model. The autocannon still set up in mid to protect this mid VP, and Vindicare looks like he's regrouping for a push onto the right hand side. And it looks like the squad has still not actually purchased the Sergeant upgrade yet that it lost earlier. Tech's going to be capping on the left hand side while Vindicare pushes in on the right hand side. Cadian Cassicans is going to be the choice here in tier 3 for Vindicare. Cadians were, or the Cassicans were changed now, so they're now heavy infantry, and also the Sergeant also gives a speed boost ability as well. And I can't remember what the speed boost ability was called, but it does actually boost their speed up for 6 seconds by quite a bit, allowing them to actually charge into combat very effectively and allow them to reposition very quickly as well in the map. Double Dire Avenger is going to be camping up that left hand side with some Banshees and the Warlock over here as well. The Cloak of Shadows getting purchased here. There's no detectors currently for VindicareX other than the Sentinel, which is only a soft detector with a radius 15, which is not really much to be honest, same as the Warlock radius I believe. So Cloak of Shadows will be very effective here for Tex to allow him to actually get into melee combat against Vindicare. And can see that Sergeant also getting purchased as well for the Cassican squad, going to be giving them a lot of HP as well. Already on 1,300 HP with a few models, with that Sergeant getting purchased up to 1,675 here. Dire Avenger is going to be fighting these Cassicans here. They do actually have the distort field, allowing them to take reduced incoming range damage. Grenade going to get thrown though onto the Fire Dragons. Meanwhile, in mid, Guardsman's fighting some Dire Avengers here. That is going to be a dead Guardsman squad though. For Vindicare was not paying attention to that. Cadian Cassican was also going to go down. Lord Commissar going to be tying up that Warlock. Banshees are going to be running past him, and with that Cloak of Shadows going to be allowing them to tie up these Guardsmen in melee combat without any repercussions whatsoever. The autocannon is still set up inside this building, but the building not actually having a decent amount of vision through mid. Sentinel as well going to get a decap onto Texas natural VP here. Warlock will live. Banshee still chasing away some Guardsmen though. The autocannon I think should actually just get out of this building because it's not actually having any effect right now, positioned where it is, and that is going to be a dead Commissar. Grenades could get thrown on retreat, but Banshees also on the retreat path should be enough to finish off that Lord Commissar, and he will go down. 157 VPs to 445. Sentinel going to be running away here. Dire Avengers trying to chase Banshees, also trying to chase the Fleet Global, could actually get used here to give them enough speed, and I think it's actually getting used here because these Banshees are extremely quick right now. Sentinel very low, still needs to keep on moving. 60 HP, 20 HP. The Banshees actually getting melee strikes onto them, will be enough to take them down. Plasma grenades getting thrown onto the building here, taking the heavy weapons team down to just half health here. But the Orsa Cannon, I'm still not sure what kind of angle it's set up inside this building. Just doesn't look like it's set up whatsoever. Okay, you can actually see the Orsa Cannon next to the building, which is a good choice because the building hasn't really provided the Orsa Cannon much of a presence really. But Vindicare saving up a lot of resources right now. Could actually get Lieben Russ out, although he's just spent a loss of requisition on something. I think he's bought the Sergeant upgrade on one of his guardsmen. Maybe, I don't know. The Cascans back up to full health. Sergeant also on the field as well. Going to be fighting the Warlock here onto the side. The Cascans with the Sergeant, I believe they do have the faster decapping, just like Tactical Marines and just like Commandos as well. The Warlock going to be running in through here. No energy on him though, so he doesn't actually have time to cast any abilities, but will be doing quite a bit of damage still with that Immolator. Level 3 Warlock as well, so going to be doing a little bit of extra damage now that he's leveled up a bit. The Commissar going to be on that left hand side. Banshees though going to be meeting the Commissar. Cadian Cascans though, and the Commissar should be able to fight the Banshees, but the Banshees going to be running straight for the Cascans instead, and they are heavy infantry. Banshees with their power melee going to be doing bonus damage. Grenade going to get thrown down onto the Banshees to try and knock them away before the Cascans are allowed to retreat away here. Wraithguard going to get purchased here for Tex, going to be doing some nice damage here to the Guardsmen. Fire Dragons also coming in for a bit of support. The Guardsmen going to get 4 stuff here in the end. Guardsmen in mid going to be landing a capture here, and the Commissar is going to be 4 stuff here. The Banshee is going to be a bit too much for him to handle, and they will get suppressed by the base turrets. Cadian Cascans coming in here. Banshees will be retreating away. I don't think they'll lose any models, and there are no grenades available on retreat here for Vindicare to actually use. Autocannon going to be set up to face mid, but the Fire Dragon is going to be able to actually land a decap at least, but the Autocannon can always attack ground in the fog of war if it really wants to try and do as much damage to the Fire Dragons as possible. Double Dire Avenger is going to be entering a gate here, going to be exiting on that left hand side, going to be meeting some guardsmen here. There's also the Cascans as well in position as well to try and defend that natural VP of Vindicare. Also the Cadian Cascans upgrading to plasma guns, going to be very nice against both Fire Dragons and Wraithguard, since they are both heavy infantry and also a shuriken platform as well as also heavy infantry, but there's no shuriken platform in this game anymore because it actually got killed earlier. The Fire Dragons on that right hand side, nearly level 3 in fact. They've done quite a lot of work throughout the game, especially that Manticore strike. Banshees and the Warlock going to be exiting this gate. Lord Commissar might find himself a bit overwhelmed. Stubbornness bonus though is quite massive with all these Guardsmen and Cadian Cascans on the field. Immolator though going to be burning down a lot of Guardsmen. Banshees 4 stuff, and Guardsmen still sitting inside this immolated area. The Dire Avengers are forced back inside the gate though. The Warlock going to be leaping in, going to be regressing now, going to be running away, and the Webway gate is going to get destroyed here by the Commissar and the Cascans. Meanwhile, Wraithguard and Fire Dragons pushing through mid. Vindicare still not purchased anything in tier 3 yet. In fact, he could actually be going for a Baneblade at this point. 920 requisition, 233 power. Tex taken up to tier 3 as well. And I wonder if Tex has noticed that Vindicare hasn't actually purchased anything in quite some time. Dire Avenger is going to be exiting the gates on the right hand side though. The gate on the left hand side was destroyed and going to be making their way towards mid. Fire Dragons and Wraithguard look like going to be tearing down the generator farm here on Vindicare, but still no tier 3 purchase yet, and we could definitely see the Lehman Russ at this point. 10 requisition away from it. Guardsmen trying to come in here to try and stop these Fire Dragons, and Wraithguard and Baneblade is starting to be built right now, which is going to be fairly interesting. You don't normally see super units and 1v1s as much. Grenade going to get thrown onto some Dire Avengers here. Not doing much damage though. I believe that's because they are behind the shield. Cadians are going to try and melee down these Dire Avengers here. Fire Dragons coming in on the flank of the Cascans, going to be forcing them off overall. Wraithguard going to be doing some friendly fire damage though to Dire Avengers, actually killing 2 friendly models of Texas. That's 20, I think they're 27 requisition each to reinforce us, 57 requisition down the drain from friendly fire. But Guardsmen going to be regrouping here. The Lord Commissar is also coming in against these Wraithguard as well. The Autocannon is set up behind Tex's own energy shield, so it should be protected fairly well here. Fire Dragon's taking a lot of damage still on 5 models, will be losing their model here. That Power Sword Commissar is going to be very effective against heavy infantry. In fact, Fire Dragons might go down overall if they're not careful. More models going to go down. The Exarch is still alive. Wraithguard inside this building. There's nothing to actually interrupt inside this building other than the Kassakin's grenade, which I believe is still on cooldown right now and still doesn't actually do that much damage in comparison to a scout grenade or a plasma grenade. But these Wraithguard are extremely tanky inside that building, though we'll be able to tank a grenade fairly easily. Need flamers ideally to actually deal with them inside the building, or just wait for them to leave, or just ignore the area because that building can only cover so much really. With the plasma gun Kassakins, they're going to be moving onto that right hand side, nothing really competing them on the right hand side. Dire Avengers are moving towards mid, and the Baneblade is now onto the field here as well. That big red Baneblade probably going to be driving straight towards mid, and Vindicare should maybe focus on just 2 VPs with that Baneblade, keeping control of the 2 VPs, such as this area here where there's a bit of a tree in the way. I'm not sure if the Baneblade can actually run that over or not. Banshee's onto the left hand side with the Warlock going to be capturing the natural here of Vindicare, and the Baneblade is pushing in through mid. Baneblade now spotted out by these Wraithguard. Wraithguard going to be running away here, taking a lot of damage from the Guardsman and the Orsa Cannon and the Baneblade itself as well. Dire Avenger still trying to cap here. Will needs to retreat away as soon as they do land that cap. Demolisher Cannon is going to be firing a shot. It's actually going to be catching out a friendly Guardsman here. It looks like it got caught on some terrain. That's very unfortunate there for Vindicare. And Kassakin's going to be meleeing down Fire Dragons. I'm honestly not sure who wins this, but I'm assuming that the Kassakin should win this with the Sergeant purchase hit. And Cadian Kassakin's melee damage, I think, was also increased in the most recent patch as well. So I think they do 12 per model, and the Kassakins look like they will win that fight as the Fire Dragons are forced to retreat into that webway gate over there on the right hand side. Gate should get destroyed, and Commissar should go and cap the VP. Fire Dragons X-Team once again, Wraithguard coming out as well. Dire Avengers also coming out at the same time. Grenade could get thrown here. There's a prime spot for a grenade for these Kassakins. And looks like the unit's going to be re-entering the gate here, but really needs to kill that gate instead. Baneblade making its way to the right hand side. Banshees and the Warlock still chilling on that left hand side. Look like they're going to be preparing for a flank, and the Fire Prison is going to be the purchase here for Tex to counter that Baneblade. Fire Prison with its enormous range should easily be able to kite the Baneblade, but the Baneblade with 3,250 health, and with there being 2 heavy weapons teams and 2 Guardsman squads, has plenty of repair supports as well throughout this game. And Wraithguard going to be forcing off these Guardsmen. Guardsmen also upgraded to plasma guns, or one of the squads has been upgraded to plasma guns. Very effective against these Wraithguard. Want to get them off the field as quickly as possible since they're going to be doing so much damage to a Guardsman. Demolisher Cannon are going to be landing, doing so much damage. Wraithguard down very low here, will be forced back to base. Should maybe even consider the Wraithbone upgrade just so you can get them out onto the field a little bit quicker, because they're down to 480 HP. The Wraithbone upgrade giving them a lot of health regen, but immobilizing the squad for several seconds, but allowing them to regen back up to full health extremely quickly, allowing them to get in and out of combat, or allowing them to recover from combat a bit better. Kassakins though forced in a bit of an awkward position as the Warlock and Banshees still sit on this left hand side. Kassakins could try and go inside the building, but the Immolator on that Warlock will prevent them from being able to do too much from inside the building while they're burning alive. Baneblade still on that right hand side, going to be defending the area. Fire Dragons moving through mid, and Fire Prism might even get some shots in, but the Baneblade driving in very aggressively here should actually pull back a little bit. The Baneblade is not going to like it if it gets hit a bit too much there. But some Warp Spiders here for Tex could actually be a really nice idea, given that he's got both Wraithguard and Fire Dragons. A Haywire Grenade could be extremely effective, but Cloak of Shadows coming in here. The Banshees are cloaked. Immolator down onto the ground. Heavy Weapons team running inside the bunker here as well. That Orsa Cannon Heavy Weapons team extremely low, could actually go down. Is reinforced, and at the same time from that bunker, it looks like it will be able to barely get inside that building. Banshee's going to be losing their Exarch as well. And the Orsa Cannon Heavy Weapons team looks like it will live. The Warlock going to get forced off. Fire Dragons in mid, getting hit by Demolisher Cannon. Looks like it will be forced off. Wraithguard pushing in. Bunker does need to be careful. Wraithguard really will tear down a bunker fairly quickly. In fact, that Baneblade is taking a lot of damage. Wraithguard getting it forced off. The Fire Prism is trying to do what it can, but it's not doing too much damage to actually scare the Baneblade, given that it has 3,250 HP of vehicle armor. Lord Commissar going to get knocked away here. But that Fire Prism, I don't think, or should actually be able to hit that Commissar and stop a decap onto that power. 97 VPs to 170 here. Dire Avengers coming in for a flank against the Guardsmen and against this Heavy Weapons team as well. Heavy Weapons team back at base. Or no, Cadian Kassakin's back at base. Where's the second Heavy Weapons team? Oh, still inside this bunker, in fact. But Dire Avengers coming in for a flank. Tex is also sending the rest of his forces out of base as well to pincer movement here. Double Dire Avengers could see some nice retreat grenades from both of them. The autocannon also faced backwards as well, not going to be protecting from the units that are coming out of Tex's bases right now. But Lord Commissar sees that Tex is pushing out of his base. Vindicare pushing forward with the Baneblade, trying to run over these energy shields by the looks of it. One Dire Avenger squad is forced away. Tex is going to go in for a cap on his own natural here. Guardsmen and heavy weapons team needs to move over to the right hand side now to actually protect it. Caden Cascan should actually be able to move to this left hand VP as well and actually be able to reclaim it. It's just a Dire Avenger squad that can always melee them down. They have plenty of HP. Wraithguard are going to be absolutely destroying that bunker, and it's going to be killing the heavy weapons team inside of it. That was a medical bunker, I believe. The heavy weapons team was reinforcing from it earlier, but no longer anymore. 68 VPs to 170. Vindicare still in a very comfortable position VP wise. Some stormtroopers are getting purchased for him now. Baneblade still needs a little bit more repairs, still only on 2,400 health, needs to be on 3,250. And Warlock with some Banshees looks like he's coming in for a flank. Meanwhile, Wraithguard going in for a capture onto the natural power. Stubbornness bonus is massive right now onto that Lord Commissar. Banshee is going to be using these energy shields here, presumably. Channeling runes on the Warlock, going to be healing Banshees back up to full health, or nearly full health, only on 5 out of 6 models, so the squad's still slightly lacking it from its full health potential. But Dire Avengers coming in for a flank against this also kind of heavy weapons team, but Stormtroopers as well, trying to do what they can. The assault kit upgrade is coming in, and I think a melter kit might even be a good idea actually, given that there's a fire prism on the field. Could actually try and snipe it with these stormtroopers, given that there's no rangers on the game as well. There's only these warlocks leading Dire Avengers for detection here for Tex. In fact, the stormtroopers are taking a lot of damage here, will go down. Very neglectful of the stormtroopers there. Banshee's also coming in, landing some specials here, and the models just flying everywhere. The stormtroopers was a bit of a big loss. The swordfield onto the Banshee preventing them from taking or giving them range damage reduction. Fire Dragon's also chasing in the Warlock as well. Is going to run ahead of the Baneblade, going to be leaping in there with that Immolator. The Immolator's not really the most effective against the Baneblade as such, but it looks like the Baneblade might go down. Some guardsmen are here. The area is very close to base. Flare is getting dropped into Fire Dragons, forcing them to run even closer. Some repairs are needed on this Baneblade right now. Guardsmen aren't repairing the Baneblade. They're actually trying to fire away the Immolator though onto this Guardsman squad, bring them down very low. The Warlock as well, extremely low. The Baneblade looks like it's going to barely be able to... Looks like it will go down. Fire Dragon's now suppressed. Banshee's going to get forced off, but the Baneblade will live with 7 HP here. But it looks like there's an Warlock drop coming in here as well though. Rear armor hit onto the Baneblade. The Warlock will be able to finish off that Baneblade before retreating away. Guardsmen should have been repairing that Baneblade, I think, since they do have the faster repair rate as well. Might have been able to barely save it. Vindicare asking why its suppression wasn't working. Fire Dragons do actually have double the amounts of courage compared to regular units. They are twice as hard to suppress with 200 courage instead of your regular 100 courage units. Dire Avenger still protecting the VP on the left hand side. 68 VPs to 150. Vindicare with some big losses here, losing the Baneblade, but still with the VP lead, might still be able to force Tex to lose the game just by capturing the VPs and holding them. Wraithguard onto the right hand side, trying to do what they can, actually focusing on the Commissar instead of the Guardsman here, will get forced off. Commissar is also upgraded now with the Fist of Barocus. None shall fall. Combine that with the Stubbornness accessory, and it's a very strong combination, since when the Commissar can get focused down, or the Commissar is the only one who can actually die, but he's healing so much from the Stubbornness bonus of having so many units surrounding him. But taking a lot of damage here. Banshees, Autarch and the Warlock going to be doing a lot of damage. The Autarch is actually going to sky leap into the air, so another auto drop can actually get used here from Tex, and Tex does not actually have the red right now, although killing some of these Cascan models on retreat is going to give him enough red, and even losing the Banshee model should give him enough red that he can actually call one down onto that heavy weapons team. Meanwhile, mid, Dire Avengers capturing the VP as well. Banshee's going to be forced away. Guardsmen running in very aggressively here. A couple Guardsman models going down, and here comes the auto drop onto the heavy weapons team inside this building here, going to be stunning the units, going to be bringing them down to half health. Guardsmen still running in very aggressively here. Auto back onto the field, could leap onto the Warlock to give them the damage bonus and health and speed bonus that she does offer. But the Guardsmen going to be forced back to base. A 2-0 cap here for Tex. Stormtroopers purchased once again here for Vindicare, going to be moving on to that left hand VP. Lord Commissar going to be moving on to that right hand VP. But Tex coming back here with the Warlock and with an Autarch. Autarch also upgraded to the Executioner weapon as well. Going to be buffing that Warlock, but the Autocannon is still set up inside that building. However, the Immolator on the Warlock could actually gets rid of this autocannon heavy weapons team. Commissar though going to be fighting that Warlock. Warlock will go down, the autocannon finishing him off. Wraithguard also going to be enough to tear down the autocannon heavy weapons team inside this building, doing so much damage to the units inside the building. But the Commissar going to be fighting the Wraithguard now. The Acadian Kaskin's going to get forced off by that. Also going to be leaping once again, buffing the Banshees, buffing the Wraithguard. Banshees level 4 and buffed with +1 speed, extra damage and whatnot. Going to be enough to maybe chase down this Commissar and actually kill him. Vindicare calls GG here, 68 VPs to 78 here. Vindicare losing quite a few units here. Commissar looks like he will live, but Stormtroopers though going to be taking a lot of damage from the auto, although Vindicare is actually typing, so he's not going to be paying attention to his units, and GG was called as well. And there's the end of the game. Tex looks like he'll be able to pull in a victory here after being so far behind on VPs. The Baneblade is also going to be going down. That snipe actually winning Tex the game. If the Baneblade had lived, then Vindicare would have probably won the game, since that Baneblade provided him with so much map presence, and it was very difficult for Tex to actually kill initially. But Tex actually had to commit so much to even kill it. But Tex is going to be the winner.